about your parents. And how about where they were born and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't say that before anyway.
You did. You talked about your mom, where she was born, but not your dad.
But I didn't talk about my father.
Right.
Okay.
So,
My father,
and their names.
yeah,
Right.
well, he was born in Vilna, Lithuania. He was the sixth descendant of the Gaon of Vilna, the rabbi of Vilna, which the Gaon of Vilna, Gaon means great, and Gaon. That's what his name was, and you have it in the right Jewish world, Jewish who's who in America, so American Jew. And over there, this was under the Russian, the kings of Russia, czars of Russia. And he was supposed to go to service for 3 years. It makes no difference whether you are the Gaon or this. When he was young, they had to all go, not like the United States, the rabbi doesn't have to go, he can become a chaplain. But over there, was no distinction. So he ran away to his name was Anglo actually, not Rosenblum. So he ran to Austria-Hungary, which was Austria-Hungary took part of Poland and all of Austria and Hungary. So Franz Josef, the king, was over there, had all these countries. It was ruled by the Austrian king. So how, this was about 1906 or 1904 when the Russian-Japanese War started. And that's when he went away, flew to Austria-Hungary, and not to be in the service. He then somehow he met he was in Hadage, a small town near Stansted. In Poland.
Oh.
Well, it was Austria-Hungary at the time.
Oh, I see.
At the time it was...
The whole map.
What?
Okay.
And they got married. Then they came to the United States. They had 2 children. Then they went back to Stanislau. Then Heather was born in Stanislau.
But the 2 children didn't make it out
Huh?
here. The 2 children didn't.
Well, they died
died
in their
early.
infancy.
Okay.
And I remember later on I wanted to come to the United States on the name of my brother, but there was no one over here to make that arrangement, so I could have claimed that I'm not dead. I was born here in New York. Right? This I didn't know, that I could make that. But so she was born in Stansted 2 years later, approximately. I was born in Hadage, so they must have traveled. The next one, Chaim, was born in Stansted again. It wasn't too far, but it was...
Well, could it be that your parents were visiting you?
No,
Your
they
grandparents and you happened to be born at the time, or you know for sure they were living?
I don't know. I think they settled there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
When I was born, I didn't know anything.
Right.
Then, during the war, the First World War, my parents and I Czechoslovakia, which they didn't find in Czechoslovakia. That's where Sara was born, in Czechoslovakia. But since they were only refugees over there, they became, so to speak, Polish subjects rather than Czechoslovakia. But if Sara would have wanted, if Czechoslovakia would be, it's just the idea that they didn't find over there. So my father, the way I heard the story, and I remember very little about it. I was maybe a year old to 2 years old when they went over there. My father was able to get us a wagon of these wagons that not this kind of a wagon that Hitler said, but this kind we got over there, and there wasn't going straight.
You don't mean like horses and wagons like that?
No,
I
a railroad wagon.
Oh.
A railroad wagon that we could cook over there, and it stopped a long time. It took from Stanislav to whatever we were in Czechoslovakia, some 3 weeks, but it went that way, and not everyone could get it. My father, with his protection, with his being the rabbi, so he was able to do that. But he didn't go. He went himself by the train directly. But we had at that time a few kids. It was, I don't know what happened, but that's how it happens that Sara was born in Czechoslovakia. I don't know the city. Then, when I grew up, I knew we were at the beginning before. When I was bar mitzvah, I was still in Stansford. I made 2 speeches. Didn't make the Haftorah or reading of this. This wasn't the custom like over here. But I made a pilpul, which means a dissertation. And we didn't have too big of a place at that time, just 2 rooms, which part of it was a kitchen. And my father invited people. Only knowledgeable persons who were scholars and Hebrew. We didn't care about Polish or German or this, even though they were. So naturally, Heather was a disappointment to my father. She was born a girl, and I was his Messiah, like you are mine, because I was the first son, but the first 2 died. So that doesn't mean he didn't like my sister, but he sent her to private school because at that time a girl couldn't go to the public gymnasium, which is intermediate around, let's say 2 or 3 years of college. You go directly to university. Then she did. I just went to gymnasium, but he didn't have to pay for me because that was public. But they had to go. It was private, but also under the government auspices. They had to have a curriculum and all this, because from there they can go. Even the girls could go to the university. I didn't go to the university over there because at that time I was looking to become already contributing or independent, and I left when I was 18 years of age. I was just Muslim from the Shira in Lemberg, and from the chief rabbi of Lemberg. Muslim means ordained. Over here it calls ordination. The nation over here is not the same as a Muslim in Europe.
Right.
So
you
know all the Talmud and the Yodeas and the didn't have a heart and all this, but over here they haven't got even correct. What did you want to say?
We have Hella, you, Chaim, Scylla,
Yeah.
Noah, David.
Oh. David was born in Stansted. David went around when he was 4 or 5. He went around, they called him, was it David? I don't remember whether it was David or Moshe. I think it was David. That when he was little, and we put these beddings on top of him, he was almost dead because he couldn't breathe. We didn't know, or whoever put him over there in the bed. And Nana, she was the helper in the house, she called him Fadishel. In other words, in Yiddish it is that he died of smoke. Well, it was revived. But this I don't remember who it was, whether it was David or it was Moshe.
It was David.
Huh?
It was David.
David.
Yes.
The David over here.
Right.
Okay. When he was 4 or 5, I didn't see it much, but I was always in the yeshiva, always studying. But I saw him once, and I didn't know what he was doing. He was walking around on the street, not on the street, sidewalk, and was crying like, hey. He just wanted to have attention. I didn't know that. He always wanted to have attention. That's David. Yeah, that's David. But everybody stopped him, and he was very glad that they stopped him and they talked to him. Then when they went away, he made it walking again. I didn't see that often, but I heard it and I saw sometime. I didn't know what it means. He is 4 years younger than I. Yeah, something like that. So I wasn't too old anyway. And then there's Moshe was born. That was also in Stansted. I had 3 children, Bronya, and Henya, and Rena. Bronya, Branche, and Henya is Henya, and Reine is also a name. The 3 little ones. I didn't want to be at the last one, Reine. I was in Belts at the time, naturally, a number of years, studying in Belts. And when I came back in the summertime, my mother wanted me to stay, and I didn't, and I always regretted it.
Stay for
Plus,
what, the birth?
to be at the birth, yeah. I always regretted it. And these 3 were my favorite smart girls. So we had some kind of a troika. Troika means a 3 in Polish, in Russian too. Hella, I, and Chaim were the scholars. Scylla, David, and Moshe were not scholars. They weren't Rabbi, they weren't just, but they weren't scholars. The little ones were the smartest ones. They could have become God. Yes, I was sorry I never saw them again when I left. 1935, I guess I have to stop.
Okay. Why don't you said that your father was born in Vilna.
Vilna,
And
yeah.
his full name is,
Huh?
his full name is Dov Tzvi.
Dov Tzvi Ben Al.
Right,
But the full name is different. So the Rav,
right.
Dov Tzvi Ben Rav, Dov Ben Al.
And in Yiddish it's Beryl?
Beryl Hirsch. Beryl is
It sounds so different than Dov Tzvi, that's what I don't
from
get.
Dov is bear, a bear.
Uh-huh. Oh, Dov is a
Beryl,
bear.
yeah.
Okay.
Tzvi is a, what do we have outside of
Oh, deer.
Deer. Tzvi is a deer.
Ah,
Beryl
Hirsch.
Hirsch is a deer.
Okay. So his father was Aaron,
Aaron.
and his mom?
Rivka, because my father had two other children,
That were named Rivka.
Aaron
Uh-huh.
and Rivka. And Rivka was my father's mother's
Right,
name.
right. So, what you're saying is since there's the Vilna Gaon heritage,
Yeah.
that your father was basically the first one to move out, would that be true, that his father was born in Vilna and the father, everyone's been in
Well,
Vilna?
I couldn't
No, for
vouch
sure.
for that, but that's,
Most likely,
but otherwise my father wouldn't be in Vilna.
right,
So I would say that during the generations, they were all in Vilna. But I haven't got it written down.
right.
In Europe, these, especially with the ultra-Orthodox, well, everybody was Orthodox over there. We didn't know about Reform, but then we found out there's some Reform. But the Reform over there was not even as forward as the conservative over here.
Right.
So it was a different thing. They didn't go without a hat over there in the Reform. So what else did you want to say?
All
Okay.
right, so your mom's full name is?
Sarah, she had only one name,
Okay.
like you.
Right. No.
And then that is
Sarah's
just
name.
just a other given name.
Right.
And she was the daughter of Eliezer Littman.
Mm.
And
the
her
mother?
father,
Sorry.
her father died young. And her mother, which must be Hinde Machler, Hella's name,
Hella's name.
remarried. She remarried. They had two daughters. And you know that I talk about, that's my mother's mother remarried. And he was Moshe Pachtel. And they made no distinction because he was a learned man too. And he was rich naturally. And everybody, my aunts, when they had children, everybody had a Moshe. And Moshe wasn't their father, it was mother's second husband.
Oh,
Nice. Okay. So,
take the top off. It's my suggestion. You can try.
I think there's enough. There's enough light.
Okay.
all right. Now where are we? So
Where are we? Right, so, okay, now
Okay.
you went to school
in the States.
near home, but then you also went to Bell.
Yeah. Belz was the very famous and the most Belzer Rabbi. Not the one that when I came in, he was the first year Rabbi because his father died, Yisroel Dov, and I didn't know at that time. In Stansel there was only one Belzer Chassid. And then I knew it when he was crying that the rabbi died. Then that year we moved to Lemberg. And I went to the yeshiva over there, which was a lot of Belzer Hasidim, or followers of Belz. And I started going to Bells just for the holidays, so on. The year after, I became a Yosh studying in Bells. But that's not far from Lemberg. Stansted is further than Bells.
What's Lvov? Lvov is...
Lvov is Lemberg.
Oh, it is Lemberg.
Lvov is in Polish.
Oh, Lemberg's in English.
Lemberg is no, it's German.
Oh.
Had nothing to do with English.
But it's all the same place.
Yeah, all the same place.
See, this is why I think you live in 20 cities, because they all have 300 names.
Yeah, well, in Belz I was called not Avroma, I was called Avroma Lemberger.
No.
I was.
Because there are probably a whole bunch of Avromas.
No, but they didn't use family name.
Oh.
They used, well, if they used family name, when I became such an there were two other Lembergers at the time that went to Belz for a year before me. It was Kunche and Ali. Kunche, two boys, Kune, and they were called Kunche and Ali. And they were, when I came the year after, and I stayed longer, but I was so taken over there and accepted that they gave me the name Avroma Lemberger, meaning that I represented the city of Lemberg, of the Jewish community of Lemberg. The National Alien Country didn't like that, but they didn't stay anymore, but that's the only two that I remember. But the rest of them, the yeshivim, Marzika Lam de Torah, they were all Belzer Hasidim, but they didn't sit in Belz. I went to that yeshiva too, before I stayed in Belz. Now, then when I became about 17, my father always wanted me to have smicha. Whether you could get a position, that's not the question. You can't get a position as a rabbi. Only I explained it to you.
There aren't congregations.
Huh?
There weren't congregations.
No, there's city, like in Israel now, taken over from Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're appointed over here, they have, in Israel, they're different. They stay for chief rabbi for so long, but this didn't happen in Europe. One was the chief rabbi, one was the rabbi, one other was the rabbi. They always remained in the same category. This was in perpetuity. But my father wanted me to have smicha. And I don't remember that I did anything else except studying. Studying the Yerodea, which is the laws, and the Shulchan Aruch, which is the Yerodea, and the Talmud, and the Rambam. And sure, I went to gymnasium, but this had to be under QT. In Belz, they wouldn't approve of it. So
all these people who went to the Belz yeshiva, they all became smicha?
Not all.
What else? I mean, what did they do to earn an income if they didn't go to gymnasium?
They got
didn't
married.
know anything besides
What they
Jewish
did,
law.
which I didn't fall for at that time, a man who had a daughter. So he took a chosen for his daughter and gave him 2 or 3 years cash, which means room and board, that he kept on studying.
Right.
If this man, they didn't take out smicha at the time, but if there would be an opening for this person that he could take over a town or a city as a rabbi, he'd get smicha at that particular time.
But you don't know if you'll ever get there or not.
Huh?
But you wouldn't know for sure if you'd ever get that or not.
No.
No, if a person was in that position, you never know when a city needs somebody. So it's
Okay.
possible you could
That-
live in the
Okay.
mother-in-law's house
No,
forever.
no. If somebody has a rabbi who is there and hasn't got, let's say, if he is a son of a rabbi, Rav, well, the older son would inherit that position. Or if you have some people who haven't got this, but they have a pull, and it comes about that the rabbi dies without any inheritors to be able to become rabbi.
Right.
So there's a pull over there, but this happened, but not very seldom.
Right.
So I didn't have any relatives. My relatives probably were all in Vilna or in Halych. Well, Halych is a small town that didn't have any. Anyway, so,
Don't get
but the
that far
idea,
out.
huh?
Don't get you may be out of the camera.
Yeah. But the idea was that my father wanted to see me having smicha,
Right.
which when I got the smicha, I gave it to him. Yeah, he kept it. I'm even surprised that when I left home first time, he gave it back to me. I don't need it. You may need it. And I didn't even think that. What would I need it? I was going to go to Israel or Palestine and become a worker over there. I didn't know anything. It so happened that when I was since I had it, I showed it to rabbis in Italy. So, but in Europe they don't call a rabbi unless you have the position, not because you're a Muslim. I came over here in the United States later. They found out that I'm a Muslim. They started calling me rabbi. They said, you have the title, you have it, okay. Now where are we? I'm now leaving. When I was, I was staying for Poland was also a 2-year. I must go into the service, conscription. So over there, I was fasting days and so on, so to lose weight that they shouldn't take me. I'm talking about weeks and weeks. And then when I came before them, I had to, the first time, so I made myself, I don't understand Polish at all, because I had the payers and all this. But you had to go around naked over there with all the boys. And they weigh you, and here sitting a big shot, the one who was going to say yes or no, he told me to put down the papers that I held. I sat down. He was so mad, get out of here. So he gave me a B, and the B means come next year. I made myself, I don't understand it. Well, he got mad and told me to get out, so I got a B. An A is you take, a C is you're out, a B is next year. So that was at that time. Next year I was already in Vienna.
In Vienna.
Vienna.
Right. So this all happened when you're about what, 16?
No.
When did you leave?
When I was 18.
Right. So 17 you went through this. And by 18 you left.
Yeah.
So
Well,
explain how you were able to finagle your way out. You can't just leave. You needed a visa.
oh yeah. Well, I was a citizen. And what you had a double dose of it's an ID. That's why I had that picture,
Oh, right.
just for the ID. And you don't get an ID if you're not a citizen. And then I had only the certificate, birth certificate. But the birth certificate for a Jew was the Jewish community gave the birth certificate. So I got it written down that I'm 4 years old. And I couldn't get out. And then I was going with a group on vacation to Vienna. But usually when you got these groups, and it was autumn, you had one passport and IDs of every person who belongs to that thing.
Weird.
Yeah, like they do it over here too sometimes, that you have a group of people and you have only one who is the, but they had actually one passport and then you have an ID that you're going with that passport. It so happened that that time there were only a few people and that we didn't have a guide. They gave me a passport then, just to go to Vienna for 6 weeks or something. When I came to Vienna, and I didn't know anything. It's the first time I left Poland. And I stayed over there for about a year. In between time, I don't know where I got the money, but I had a man who was dealing in that, like in between. I think he was a lawyer too, but he made the acquaintance with Polish consulate, and he prepared me to go over there to the Polish consulate, and they gave me a passport as I am a domicile of Vienna. You have people who, let's say, if it wouldn't be for the idea I have to go to military service, they would let me out to Vienna. But this time, they just gave me a visa to Vienna for a short time. And through this macher, as we call him, maker, I think it cost me 200 shillings, which was a lot of money. I don't remember how I got the money. And then I go up over there, and it was all made out. Yeah, and he comes with me actually, because he sponsored me. He's Viennese. And it wasn't the consulate, the consul himself, somebody over there. They gave me a stamp and said, next year you have to go back to Poland to stay for service. I said, yes, I'll be back. That's what he told me I should say. Every word that I had to say, he told me.
Right, you already knew.
So as soon as I have it, that I'm a domicile over there, and it says I can go all over the world when I get it. I have to get visas. But when I come to Poland, that passport is worthless. So I never got there.
Keep talking. Okay.
Could we stop here?
Yeah. So we'll leave you in Vienna, and we'll pick up how you get out of Vienna.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.